Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Manuela and my channel is dedicated towards creating narcissistic abuse awareness, more so from a biblical standpoint. And I'll be talking about other general life issues. Today I'll be looking at the narcissistic rage. Rage is a reaction to the narcissistic injury or wound. It's basically a 3-year-old temper tantrum in an adult. Narcissistic personality disorder is one where one has a grandiose sense of self-importance, has an insatiable need for attention, adulation, affirmation, and admiration, and they lack empathy, among a plethora of other issues such as being exploitative, manipulative, abusive, you name it. Narcissism is on a continuum, from the peaceful one to someone with full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. Rage it's a normal reaction, one of those emotions we are born with, like the hate, love, anger, envy, happiness, all that. However, our upbringing, our training will determine whether we can control that or we can't control it. Rage is mostly associated with having a violent, uncontrollable anger. However, for the narcissist, it's sudden, unreasonable, and disproportionate to the criticism made or perceived. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26, I read from the NIV. It says, "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry." And in Matthew chapter 21 verse 12, we see that Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He turned the tables of money changers and benches of those who were selling doves. So literally there's justified anger. For the narcissist, it's always over the top. You are left wondering what just happened. Narcissists are developmentally arrested. These people do not have an internal network to self-regulate themselves, are living in a survival state. So you're looking at the brain stem in action, anterior insular cortex, the gray part in that place is non-existent. They have a default in having empathy. To make it worse is that the prefrontal lobe that helps us regulate our emotions, reasoning and thinking, it also did not develop fully, is actually small. So these people cannot regulate the negative emotions in the inside of them. James chapter 1 verse 20 says, "For anger of men doesn't produce righteousness of God." Narcissistic anger here is actually what is being pointed out. These people cannot regulate themselves. Justifiable anger is regulated. So they engage in maladaptive ways to self-regulate, and they do it externally, and rage happens to be the easiest. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 24 says, "Make no friends with a man given to anger, nor go with a wrathful man." The anger spoken of here is not justifiable anger, because the Spirit of God that would have been in a man who has got anger helps them control these emotions. The narcissists cannot control them. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 18, "A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quietens contention." Any man who stirs up anger has no rest in them. The Spirit of God is lacking in there. Where God is, there is rest. Where there is godlessness, there is unrest. Rage is expressed in a number of ways, and one of the very first one is the aggressive way. Aggressive here, you're going to find they are up in your face, they are talking at you, they scream obscenities at you, they block your exit, you can't leave the place. The second way is being passive aggressive. These are people who are going to throw subtle jabs at you about maybe your weight, your height, your parents, your friends, your job. They'll also call you names, they'll slander you, they'll smear campaign, gaslight you, they'll sigh, like giving you that feeling of you're not enough, you're not doing enough, you're saying crap. They jeer at you. Then we have the violent way. This is where these people are hands-on. You're being body slammed onto the wall or ground. You are kicked. You are beaten. You're missing teeth. You have a black eye. They spit on you. You're looking at strangulation in place. If they are driving, they are driving erratically, and you're just praying to get to your destination in peace and not in pieces. Break your property or their property. They can ban themselves. They'll threaten maybe even to ban you. There's the silent or suppressive way. These are people who will not talk to you. They are not going to communicate to you in any way. You send a message, they don't email back, they don't call, they won't pick up your calls. There's no communication at all. And on top of that also, there's no intimacy. If you want to be intimate with them, they'll leave the room. They basically make you feel less than. You feel undesirable. And this takes a mental toll on anyone, or emotional. You question yourself, you question your identity, you question your self-worth. The rage usually tends to help the narcissist in several ways. And the very first one is that it helps conceal and cover for their grandiose image. Here, no one will question them, meaning they are superior, they are perfect. It enhances their superiority complex over you. Secondly, it will help them in controlling you. Because of the rage, the outbursts, those sudden outbursts, naturally you'll start walking on eggshells. You will think through what you're going to say just to make sure you do not get them going off the handle. You start living in fear and uncertainty, which controls you. So you become hypervigilant, hypersensitive. This is how narcissists will take advantage of being dismissive. When you ask for something or for any accountability, they'll be dismissive because they now blame you for their reaction, not the abuse they have inflicted on you. Rather, now your reaction to the abuse is now the problem. The fourth reason is that the rage helps them operate in their nature, because that is who they are. They get into a rage such that they can insult you. As they are sending you this verbal artillery, it also helps them tell you actually how they feel about you. But many times you'll dismiss it thinking they were just being angry at the moment. But in essence, they meant each and everything they said. Rage is one of the very first red flags in a toxic person. They are literally a basket case. It's almost like something has possessed them. Many people speak of how their eyes can even turn black. It's almost for a split second, and you question yourself, did it happen? Didn't it happen? You're left confused because it's a twilight zone of its own. Abuse is not godly. Abuse is demonic. Abuse is oppressive. God came to redeem us from oppression. You are not obligated to make things right with an abuser. You are obligated to take care of your mental health. So do not stay in an abusive situation. I'm going to look at a few causes of narcissistic rage. Narcissistic injury precedes narcissistic rage. 1. Narcissists are people who have experienced trauma also. These people were abused, and unfortunately, I'll say they got the bug. This left their brain dysregulated, and hypervigilancy is a product of it. So they are ever cautious of what is coming at them, even when it's not there. Number 2, when you abandon them or the partner has one-upped them, they leave them without their knowledge. They just pack and leave. Maybe a divorce, a separation, something of that nature. This leaves them in a rage because they have lost their supply. Remember, you're objectified. You're nothing to them other than a means to an end. 3, when you unmask them, you are going to have it with them. These people are vindictive. You will have to pay for having unmasked them. They will expose whichever dirt you're having, even which is not there. They'll come up with their own dirt. Narcissists will always try to destroy you with a lie because they know you can destroy them with the truth. When they are caught breaking the law, they may swindle company funds, and when the law catches up with them, they are going to blame another person who opened the gate for them and they came and handcuffed me. So the blame is put on maybe the gate man or you who went and opened the door. But they are not going to take blame for having caused their being in handcuffs. They are going to instead blame you for having opened the door for the police to put them in handcuffs. 5, these people have a very unhealthy competition. Let's say you're both working and you happen to get a promotion at your workplace. You have caused an injury. You may be beaten that night for having gotten a promotion. Why? You are now superior to them. How dare you work hard to become superior to them? You are inferior. You shouldn't get a promotion. They'll just hit you and tell you, you disrespect me. Or because you have now gotten a promotion. No. You worked hard and your promotion. They'll even accuse you of sleeping with the bosses. The sixth one, this one is when they do not get attention. Remember, these people, one of their traits is having copious amounts of attention. You do not give them the attention, they are going off the handle. When you implement a boundary, even the word no is, who do you think you are? They're entitled to have access to whatever, whenever from you, though the same is not applicable to them. 7, being held accountable. They hate to be accountable because you would be lowering them. These people are superior. How can they be accountable to some inferior being? It's been said, hurt people hurt others. Narcissists take it to another level. They are sadistic. They enjoy seeing you in pain. They translate it into a sexual high. It is that sickening. Given the nature of the narcissist, people think that it always takes two to quarrel. Hello, in the narcissistic world, these people can quarrel alone. They defy the odds. You want to experience certain kinds of miracles that will shock you out of your skin. These people can quarrel on their own. And you're thinking, how is it possible? It is very possible. They start an argument on their own. You can think they're having a conversation with someone. Before you know it, they are quarreling and you're somehow strung in. Because of such reasons, you will find it's very difficult to have and sustain a relationship with these people because they are perfect. If they are perfect, it means you, the partner, you're imperfect. So you have to take the blame for everything that happens in the relationship. I'm going to be looking at the consequences of narcissistic rage. 1, you become fearful. They instill in you a spirit of fear. And these narcissists can smell it because that is their domain. And they love the fact that you're fearful of them because that means they have the power over you. In so doing, you who is now walking on eggshells, mentally or physically, you see to it that you avoid whatever conversation will piss him off. You're left in this internal invisible prison. 2, if you happen to leave because of the rage, they'll hoover you, they'll try to suck you back in. When you come back, remember the abuse is going to intensify because you caused an injury. These people are vindictive. That's why abuse always escalates. 3, these people are always going to triangulate. Triangulation is introducing a third party without your knowledge. When you have a fight, the narcissist has already called people outside and told them the story, but based on his perspective, not as it happened. They maybe slapped you or called you names. They are going to call people and tell them you're the one who called them names. Well, the way you reacted is that's how they reacted. As they are doing that, they are gaining allies. And these allies are the people we call the flying monkeys. So before you know it, people know what happened between the two of you, except that it has been rewritten history by the narcissist. That way, people start resenting you. In so doing, they are getting narcissistic supply from these flying monkeys. They'll carry out that smear campaign of their delusional world. Abuse takes a toll on your body. Your body will always keep score of the abuse you're going through. Before you know it, you are developing autoimmune diseases. You're having destructive behaviors. Let me look at things like you're hopeless, you're depressed, you're stressed, you're suicidal, developed high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, a host of diseases. And this is where Christians get it wrong. They think that they are going to pray and it will get out. No, you cannot heal in the very environment that is making you sick. You're becoming confused. You have a memory lapse in this state of a zombie eclipse. What has happened? These people keep confusing you. They'll do something, deny it. They do something, they say it was you who did it. Before you realize it, start doubting yourself. You second guess yourself. You think you cannot make these decisions well. So you're going to allow the narcissist start making the decisions for you. Remember, you've already even been isolated from people. When they rage, you'll sidestep the original issue. People are now going to accuse you of being the abusive one for calling them out on being abusive. You're left confused, like maybe I did it, because you've even reacted. The problem is not your reaction. The problem is the abuse which you're reacting to. You're defending yourself from the abuse. So do not be apologetic about it. These people are going to do whatever it takes to protect their grandiosity. They will lie, they will smear campaign, they will be manipulative, they will exploit any situation. You are not a narcissistic whisperer. You didn't cause it, you can't cure it. And you cannot help someone overcome a problem that benefits them. A sick person will look for a doctor. Someone who is enjoying their sickness is not going to look for a doctor. They can regulate their emotions in public, but behind closed doors they cannot. That's why they are branded a personality disorder, not a mental disorder. The proverbial crux in the narcissistic rage is that the gene cannot be put back in the bottle. Stay away from them. That is the best way to play the game with them. Blessings.